good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show tonight is the Dempsey Makepeace of Rangers Radio, Jaffa and Linda. Evening, boys and girls.
Evening, Jaffa. Evening, Oxger. Evening, everyone. I hope you're all keeping well.
Evening, Linda. Evening, Ox. Thanks for having me on Rangers Radio.
How are you, Linda?
Yeah, very well, Ox, yes. Doing all right. The cold weather's about to hit us up here right enough, so not looking forward to the weekend. Sleet and snow's on its way.
I hope that's the back end of it, the back end of the winter.
Hope so.
Hope so. How are you, Jaffa?
Very well, Ox. Yep, doing good. Enjoyed the 3 points at the weekend. Performance in the second half could have been better, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Aye, of course it could have been better. I just think that, well, I mean, we critiqued it last night, and I think we were as fair as about the performance, but I think the negativity, a lot of it comes on the back of last week, Linda, yeah?
Oh, definitely, Ox. If we had managed to win that cup, we would all have been on a bit of a high for a change. And then you would be getting into the game on Saturday, just, we want the good performance, but it would all have been about the 3 points and just keeping the momentum going. Obviously in the league it did keep the momentum going, but the cup loss it deflated us all a bit, Ox, and I think we don't want to hark back to it, but it was the way that we performed in the cup. I think if you lose it maybe 1-0 or 2-1 and you've played okay, Ox, I think it's a different narrative.
I fully understand the hangover, Jeff, and I get the negativity that the cup brings. We are where we are, and we just have to deal with it. You can't turn back time.
Absolutely, Ox. No, it is what it is. I know a lot of that's the phrase of the moment for a lot of people, and it's exactly right. We've got to deal with it. We've got to soldier on. We've got to keep winning football matches because that would make it worse if we didn't. So deal with what you have in front of you. And just get out there and put the best performances on. And incidentally, if we had played for 90 minutes the way we did in the first 45 minutes, I happen to think that would have lifted the mood somewhat more. But because the first 45-minute performance on Saturday was absolutely brilliant, and everything the response that we were looking for. But that didn't happen, and I agree with you totally. The hangover does come from the week before.
Aye, it's a bad hangover, Linda. You've had one or two of them.
We better not go there. Okay, the thing about Saturday was, I think, as Jaffa said, it was really good in the first half. But unfortunately, the way that they played in the second half, people were leaving the ground quite unhappy at times. A lot of people were quite unhappy, just the way that they played in the second half. And it's a shame, Ox, because if it had been the reverse and we hadn't played well maybe in the first half and we had the 3 goals in the second half, you would have been leaving the ground maybe feeling slightly differently about the game. But that's all down to the players, Ox. They have to stop this taking their foot off the gas, complacency, as you guys were saying last night. I mean, that's got to change. But as Jaffa said, Michael Beale just has to take one game at a time, and we'll see what happens in the future.
I try to rack my brains today without looking, Jaffa. And this season, I don't think we played well in the league at Ibrox at all. I'll be honest.
No, I would. In the league, I would agree with that, Ox. Yeah. There's nothing jumps out at me. There's no game where you go, we got a 90-minute performance. We've had blips of performances. Aberdeen, maybe, yeah.
Even then, we went 1-0 down, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, we came back strong in the game, and again we were in that period where we kept giving a goal away, didn't we? Right. Every game we were letting ourselves go down 1-0. But no, it's a fair point, Ox. I mean, listen, look, the manager said yesterday in a bit of his presser, he was talking about where we were and, the feeling in the club and what's going on behind the scenes. And, it's Rangers at the end of the day, Ox. We're a massive football club. We've got to keep getting behind the team, us as fans and supporters. because not doing that will make it even worse. And I know it's challenging times now. We are all feeling the pain for last week still, but we've got to keep playing. We've still got a cup to play for. I totally agree with Southside's point last night. We've got to win this cup, and the only way we're going to get into form is by still winning the league matches. So we've got to get the players. They've got to get the players that are coming back into the team and the ones that are in the team up to speed, like Raskin, and give Cantwell more minutes, because he looks a real turn, doesn't he?
I like him. I think he's got something about him. I think we're going to have to find out where we're going to play him going forward, Linda, or we're just going to have to build a team and give him a free roll.
Yeah, I think as Jaffa said, he played well on Saturday, and actually in the second half, when you look back at the game, he was the one that was trying not to let his standards drop. He was constantly trying to get the team going, and unfortunately quite a lot of players round about him had let their performance level drop, but he was constantly pushing. And I know people have been talking about his work rate as well. I don't think he's ever really been well known for winning the ball back and maybe working as hard as we've seen him in games, Ox. And I think when he was questioned about that, he was a bit kind of not annoyed, but a bit bristly about it at one of the press conferences a few weeks ago, just after he came in. I think probably because he likes to get on the ball all the time. Maybe his work rate has gone a bit unnoticed in the past. He'll probably want to add maybe some more numbers, Ox, maybe chipping in with a couple of goals here or there, because we do need more goals, don't we, from the front players, whoever's going to be playing up there.
You can make numbers mean anything you like, It's not the first time Jaffa's got 96 mixed up, but
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But well, numbers for the front players, maybe for 18 months, have they been great, Jaffa?
No, they haven't been, Ox. I mean, when you actually start breaking the numbers down, for Alfie and Kent, and we've spoke about this before in the show plenty of times with Kent's numbers, whether it even Sakala out wide, the midfield, whoever's playing in that role, that 10 role, and pushing forward for midfield. And that Ox is fundamentally one of our main problems, and probably is our main problem. That and giving soft goals away at the back, and that's not a good recipe for a moving forward. Because you've got to be mean at the back, and you've got to be lean up front, and all your guys have got to be chipping with goals in, and that's how you win leagues. It's a fact. That's how you win 38 games over the season, or at least more than your opposition. And that's fundamentally where we've been losing out. And as you said, for the past 18 months, it's down to personnel, Ox, and that's a whole other discussion. The signings that we've made they've not been good. Let's not be kidding about it. The January window gone by, I saw something the other day there, the 5 players that we brought in, or 4 players we brought in. I think there's only Suter is at the club. The rest all were on loans and have left, including James Sands now. So recruitment's been poor, Ox, and that affects all that. All those.
Did we bring in last January? Ramsey, Dalio, was it Dalio? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
The boys with Sunderland now doing okay there. James Sands. Who else? Suter, obviously. I missed one. Who have I missed? Jaffa?
Did you see Ramsey? Yeah.
Ramsey, Dalio, Suter, Sands, another one. Anyway, it doesn't matter what companies. But obviously you're right. And Suter's hardly kicked a ball, has he?
Yeah. And all those parts of that, Ox, recruitment, and the change in manager, let's not be kidding about it. You can't just gloss over that. The whole recruitment of Gio in the league, if you break it down into 2 areas, the league and the Europa League was brilliant. We can't deny that. That was phenomenal. But the league form, Ox, was appalling. And I said this last week, in the first 10 games that Gio was in, we went from a 6-point advantage to surrendering a 6-point deficit. So we had a 12-point swing in 10 games. And that there was when the league was win and lost last year. And that's impacted us this year because Gio's not there anymore. And, you know, we all know that. The rest is history. He had to go. He had to move on because it wasn't working.
So he's not talking about dogging, he's talking about swinging, Linda. What a man he is.
Incidentally, going back to the 96 getting mixed up, I prefer a 68 and a lower one.
Missed that one, Jeffrey? I missed that.
Linda got it.
I never heard what you said. I'm serious.
You were talking about getting a 96 mixed up. I said I prefer to go for a 68 and a lower one.
All right, okay. There's a reason I do the jokes on here.
Don't listen to him, Ox.
He's a bad influence on me, I can assure you, Linda.
Yeah.
I was sitting in a quite happy in Spain, no bothering anybody. He appeared to Bedlam.
It's never been the same since Seville.
Bedlam. I wasn't bothering anybody. Keep myself to myself.
See you.
Aye. No bother anybody. 5 hours later, I'm babbed about 4 places.
It was 3.
Right, okay. Right. I'm going to put the two of you on the spot then. This, I'll say lack of confidence. I'll use that term. You might have different views. Can you put your finger on it, Linda?
Do you mean lack of confidence in terms of the way that the players are playing, Ox? Do you think?
Because we're not getting all right. Lack of consistency in performances, Linda. If that makes sense, then you know we're getting spells. Even in that game last week, when we know we didn't play well. The 20 minutes run about the goal. If we could we had opportunities to make chances, score goals, and actually win the match, bizarre as it seems, but we never. So why is it 20 minutes out of 100 minutes, which is roughly a game of football nowadays?
Yeah. It seems to be that's kind of been the story of the season and also the second part of last season to a greater extent. I know that when Gerrard was here, we didn't have the best starts. We were conceding a lot of goals, and as Jaffa said, but we were still 6 points ahead. But just focusing on recently this season, they just seem to play in patches in games, Ox, don't they? They just play in spells in games. They play all right, you know, but they can't seem to sustain that. And again, as you've said, that comes down to consistency of performance. And I know to win a league, Ox, you don't have to play brilliant in every single game, but at the end of the day, what's cost us this season has been the lack of consistency. And I know we had the injuries, etc. But a lot of the players, though, Ox, and this is just my opinion, I think, I'm not saying that they're down tools or anything like that. I'm not suggesting that at all. But I think sometimes you get to a point where you've maybe just been, they've been at the club for maybe too long now, Ox. And you do have to kind of freshen it up, and that's maybe not what we've not been very good at. I mean, freshen it up with quality. But you could also argue as well that the 7 signings that we made in the summer, most of them have been injured. So we've had that to deal with as well. I don't know if it's confidence. I think it's consistency, but I think that might come with the fact that it might be perhaps it's time for quite a few of them to move on, Ox.
So, Jaffa, I've same question to you, and then we'll talk about the summer signings plus the people we re-signed. Jaffa?
Yeah, I again, I don't know if it's a confidence thing, Ox. I think it's a combination of the changing manager, obviously, the changing at the top, because obviously that took time. And in that period, incidentally, where we lost to St Johnstone this year, and we drew with St Mirren, I think it was, and we dropped 5 points. For me, that was the danger zone. That was where the league went out with hands. And that's probably influenced the position we're in now. But I agree with Linda. I think a lot of it's down to injuries, Ox, and recruitment. I think that's the two main areas that have caused the issues. and are still causing the issues, because we've had an unbelievable amount of injuries, and obviously we've had a change in manager, Michael Beale coming back in. And incidentally, if you look at his record alone and what he's done in the league since he's come back in, you can't argue with that, Ox. You can't. It's not for debate. That you can't ask the guy to do any more than what he's done. The big issue, red flag was last weekend with them and losing that game. But as far as Michael Beale goes and where he's got the team to, but they're still producing the same type of performances. And I happen to agree with Linda, totally 100%. I think the bit that we've not done, we've not refreshed the team, and we've re-signed players that.
So with how many players? Who did we sign in the summer then, Jaffa? Run through the summer signings.
So we re-signed, obviously, Goldson, didn't we?
Summer signings.
Oh, the summer signings, sorry. The summer signings were Ridvan, Tom Lawrence, Cholak, Ben Davies, obviously from Liverpool, and I'm back. They're the other one or two.
Matondo, you forgot about him. Your mate Rabi
Matondo. That was the summer signings.
But we also re-signed who, Jaffa?
Goldson and we signed McGregor. We re-signed Scott Arfield, Stephen Davis, and
did we give McLaughlin a new contract as well?
I think we did, actually. I think we gave him a 2-year contract, didn't we?
So in the summer, we've recruited, retained, whatever, pretty much a full team, yeah?
Yeah. And if you think about who's managed to make an impact, because we haven't been able to refresh to a certain degree because of the injuries to these players. I mean, if you think Suter hasn't made an impression, Ox, Davies was out for quite a while as well, wasn't he, trying to get himself up to fitness? But obviously we brought Tillman in on loan, and he's probably been the success, hasn't he? He's been fine. Young Yilmaz, he got injured as well. Lawrence and Matondo, they've not made any impact. And then even Cholak, who made a fantastic start, he got injured, and he's just starting to get his fitness back now. So there's that you can't legislate for that. You bring in all those players in the summer and they all stay fit. It could have been a different story, even with even setting aside the fact that we did make the re-signings.
Aye, I get it. So we've no refresh, because even if we're honest, John and Alan McGregor at times have done okay for us, but they've had bad games as well, and a lot of people coming on here have said we need a new goalkeeper, so they've not been successful. Ben Davis and arguably Connor have been the most consistent, but they've only started really striking up a partnership since Michael Beale came in. Cholak started after a world one, supported by Tom Lawrence, who we both enjoyed, but let's be honest, we can't judge them yet. And the rest, the jury's out on, apart from young Tillman, who had a spell but he's been excellent. Lo and behold, it looks as if he's injured, Jaffa.
And that ultimately has been the story of the season, Ox. It's just been the disruption's been unbelievable in that sense, and you've got to take that into account. I know as fans sometimes don't want to hear all that, and you think, well, the guys in the background will just come in and this one will take that slot and that one will take, and that's I bet when you look at the actual starting 11s, Ox, I wonder how many times he's played the same team. Either Gio or Michael Beale have played the same team. It can't be very high.
What I can let you know is maybe how many players Michael Beale's used quickly. Yeah, I can do that. Mm-hmm. Without going through. But interesting. And I don't know if that is down to recruitment, is it down to bad luck, is it down to, because when you look at some of their records, Linda, they've no had long into the list before they came here. I think Lawrence had read somewhere they played 46 games last season.
Yeah,
And we get them He plays about 46 minutes.
No, I think you're right, Ox. And obviously, Suter was signed in the January, but didn't come until the summer. But we knew John Suter's, injury record, and I think we've taken a chance on him. I might be totally wrong in this, but see if Connor Golson had signed a contract, I'm not sure we would have gone for Suter. I think we expected him to leave, but as I said, I might be way off the mark with that one. I don't know if we would have taken a chance on Suter. We probably would still have needed a centre half right enough, but I don't know. We'll never know. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But yeah, Lawrence had a great start. And you're right, he'd hardly missed a game this season before. And obviously, I don't know about the boy Matondo. I've hardly even heard anything about what sort of injury he's got. I think it's maybe a knee injury, but I don't know. This quite sort of highlights his career so far, Ox. I don't even think anybody's asked about Matondo at any of the press conferences.
Did you say a knee injury?
I think it was a knee injury.
Oh, your nose has just hit me in the eye.
Was it not for Matondo? No.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. You can take that any way you like.
Oh,
right, I'm going to put the two of you on the spot.
Okay.
You can pick a number. How many players, including substitute appearances, has Michael Beale used? You can have a guess. Till we get it right. Ladies first, Jaffa.
28.